So I wanted to bring what I know to be true to my culture and what I saw when I went to the Middle East here to the US.
What brought me to the food business, of course, is the passion and the confidence inside of me that what I want to do is what I love to do.
We cook it in our way, easy, fresh way, so per order only.
I think people are becoming more and more health cautious, and doctors are steering them towards the Mediterranean diets.
I think it's a combination of factors. I think that driving some of the popularity is a real focus on vegetable-centric foods, on brightness of flavor, a little bit of a contrast to some of the trends that have been happening lately. I think that a lot of the Middle Eastern food fits that profile. And then I think you have a growth of chefs around the country who are doing really great iterations of it, doing a great job of introducing that palate to the American consumer.
We're living in a foodie culture now. People want novelty, they want to experience something new, and I think that the Middle Eastern chefs have risen up to the occasion. I think that this is a unique time. This is a space for rising Arab chefs to take, and I think it's really a unique space for me as a woman, as an Arab American woman, because people have all sorts of stereotypes or sort of misconceptions of me when they see me in those spaces, to be able to assert my legitimacy in that space. And I'm really happy to be able to do that, because then, we can talk about the culture behind the food.
The ingredients that we use, the richness of and the flavors itself, it really brings it up. We actually balance, and now what I'm learning because of the American tongue, what I call it, when you taste it, the Americans here liked it spicy, sweet, and a lot of flavors. We bring all that together. Most of the Middle Eastern dish is not super spicy. Besides Moroccan, maybe it's a bit high, but the majority of what we use is the most common in the Middle Eastern dish is 5 spices, which is cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, and allspice. These are very, very mild spices. It's creativity.
It's going big, it's going more popular, because most of the people now, they know what's the Middle Eastern cuisine is, especially when they go visit the Middle East and they come here, they find a good restaurant, healthy, fresh, same taste, same quality of the food. They like to see it, especially here at our kitchen, because we have open kitchen, so they can see what we are doing.
A lot of people, American people also, are buying these cookbooks, and they're starting to cook Mediterranean because it's healthy. I mean, a lot of more immigrants, especially now after the Syrian war, the Iraqi war, a lot of families are coming here, and of course these people need our ingredients and our products, and every day I get 5, 6 American customers inquiring or asking about spices.
What you're seeing now is an increase in the regional varieties of food that you get, in the specificity of the chefs themselves, and then in some of the playfulness using American ingredients. I think for those of us who've been working in the food industry for a long time, it's not necessarily all of a sudden. There are authors like Paula Wolfert who have been talking about this kind of food and this palate in America for a really long time. Food always reflects economics, and the kinds of foods that are brought to the marketplace, the kinds of foods that are consumed in the marketplace are always tied to the way that global economies are shifting through immigration, consumption, commodity prices.
When I came here, I wanted to do something. Of course, you want to get a job to survive as a refugee who doesn't know anything about this country. The thing that I've done it a long time ago, but I never thought that I'm going to be a pro for it, is cooking. And just a simple story, just my first job, it took me only 3 years to be the production manager and the catering chef. Only 3 years. Once again, if you like what to do, you can learn very fast at it. So build my resume, and then high companies such as Google, Twitter, the mayor of San Francisco, Stanford, UC Berkeley. I've done it all, and Johnson & Johnson, and bigger than that. And I'm an artist since 1990. I was an artist. My first job actually in Iraq was an animator. Give you a more developed, to more play with the ingredients. That's how to become a chef. It's different than a cook. A cook who follows recipes and do whatever it tells you. But a chef is to be creative. The other thing is how good you are at creating the menu, how good you are of balancing your budget, you know, training people, dealing with clients, dealing with people. That's another thing to make your resume higher and higher. And since 9 years, I started as a cook, and now today I'm talking with you as an executive chef. That's a big, huge deal.
When I first came up with the concept, I told my mom, and she was sort of a little hesitant. She's like, I don't know, because I told her, Mom, I want to create this Arab street corner bakery concept, but I want to do it for non-Arabs. I want to translate the foods of what I know to an American audience. And she said, oh, I don't know if they're ready for za'atar. And now you see it's like the biggest craze, right? Clearly the American public is ready for something like this. They want something that is novel. As we went into business and we started doing our farmers markets and pop-ups, we discovered that people from Lebanon were coming and saying, this is better than the bakeries I've had it in Lebanon. And it's great because you have the non-American audience and you have the American audience both convening in the same space. It's a place for organic cultural exchange, for people to get educated about what Arab cuisine is all about. What are the politics behind that? And if I can do that, if I can sort of elevate people who know nothing about Arab culture, their senses, and capture them through the food, then the next thing is we can engage them on an intellectual level. Do you know where this food came from? Do you know the history behind it?
When we came here a few years ago, we didn't find like good food, to be honest, and fresh food, healthy food. So it was like an idea to bring a restaurant. We began it like from scratch. We built it from scratch. We give them like how I got teach it from my mother and from my grandmother, because like it's like generation recipe. It's not like even my recipe. So when you're gonna like change in the recipe for any customer, it's gonna be hard because most of the customer loves the food and like they accept it. How is it?
We bring specialty, first of all, specialty produce that no one else has in Washington State. Especially in the springtime and the summertime when it's in season. For instance, the fresh green almonds, the pistachios, the sour plums, generic. All year around we bring the Italian eggplants, Mexican squash, Lebanese cucumbers.
Demographic changes in cities always impact the kind of foods that are available to consumers. And I think that increases in immigration, increases in visibility for folks from the Middle East will definitely translate into food. Food has also always been a way for the professional class or the immigrant class to enter the mainstream marketplace in this country when they're often denied other access to opportunity in this country.
You know, a lot of Arabs immigrated to Latin America during the 1900s, and their cuisines got melded into what was the cuisine over there. Al pastor is just simply shawarma. You know, there's a huge Arab population in Mexico City where they have tacos árabes, they call them. So these are the evolving of cuisine is really a beautiful thing, and we hope to connect to cultures that way. Definitely not a trend. I think people want novelty and taste. They want novelty and experience. It's a funny thing. They want novelty but familiarity at the same time, right? So our job, sort of as chefs, is to evoke that familiar feeling that's universal to the human experience, is to evoke the senses of warmth, of taste, of sound, of smell, all the aromas. Those are all universal human experiences, but then to bring something new to that person's palate. To open a food business, you need more than just the culinary skills. You need the entrepreneurship skills and the business skills. And so in 2014, I enrolled in a program called La Cocina. And La Cocina is based here in San Francisco and helps women-owned businesses, and particularly immigrant women, take their food businesses and scale them up to be family-supporting businesses. I got into the program, and we formalized our business in 2015. And what La Cocina offers is below market rate kitchen space. One of the biggest barriers to starting a food business in the US is access to commercial kitchen space.
La Cocina exists to answer for the barriers to entry in the marketplace for low-income and immigrant entrepreneurs, primarily women, who would like to launch or grow food businesses. La Cocina provides affordable commercial kitchen space and hands-on industry-specific technical assistance to talented chefs and entrepreneurs who are launching, growing, and formalizing food businesses. So we do that through the kitchen space that's downstairs, through technical assistance that our staff delivers, and through access to markets and access to capital opportunities.
My dream is always to have a street corner bakery, something that's planted, that's rooted and grounded, and so an opportunity came for me to get a space in Oakland. And this contest came right at the same time. So we decided now is the time. It was very serendipitous for me to have all of this culminate in one moment. And we applied, and we became a finalist.
Reem is a perfect example of an entrepreneur. And she's very much, in my opinion, an American story. She's the daughter of immigrants, she's a community organizer, she's very connected to the politics of the place that her family comes from, but also very connected to the politics of the place that she lives in, and her food reflects all of that. It's California ingredients, it's Arab cooking styles, it has an Arab name with a very American face and interaction with the customer. So she's all of those things at once, and I think that's what's exciting about her food and her place.
The pathway to Reem's for me was not a traditional one. I say that I have sort of the unique advantage of being a child of immigrants. And so being here in the US, I always say that I felt like a stranger in a strange land. When I go to the homeland, I don't quite feel like I'm Syrian or Lebanese or Palestinian, but when I'm here, I'm not treated as an American. And so it's sort of a weird place to be in, where you're constantly trying to navigate culturally who you are. And I struggled with it for a long time growing up. So the concept of Reem's is really about providing the warmth of Arab hospitality through the experience of the Arab Street Corner Bakery. And so when I started Reem's, I was really thinking about sort of what is that experience that hits the senses, that transcends culture, right, across all cultures. And really, what better way to do it than using fresh-baked bread? It's really the literal warmth of fresh-baked bread, but then that warmth of connection, that warmth of feeling at home, all those sort of warm feelings people have, those nostalgic feelings, whether or not that you know Arab food or not.
I moved to Washington State 2005. And we started with Goodies before the Manouchi Express. So we ran Goodies for 3, 4 years, 5 years up here in this small space. And then the Manouchi Express idea started. So we started with a woodstone oven, as you see it back there. And we outgrew the store, and we moved downstairs. We relocated the grocery store to the lower level, which is bigger, and then we converted this to the restaurant where we have Manaish. In the springtime and summertime, we bring the specialty produce. In addition to that, all the Lebanese products, الزعتر, اللبنة, كل شيء, يعني البرغل, الفول, all our products. Added to Goodies our fresh meat department, and the butcher is from Turkey. Very similar style of Lebanese butchering, So every Wednesday morning we get the fresh meat, including the saudan. So we wait for Wednesday to get that, and especially Lebanese people. And of course, al-kib al-nai, all that, he does that for us.
As immigration patterns shift in the Bay Area, we begin to see more and more Middle Eastern entrepreneurs who are looking to enter that marketplace, both to serve their own demographic who have moved here, and also as a way to formalize and create assets for their families. Mama Lamise came to La Cocina and asked everybody to call her Mama. I think that she reflects a different generation of Arab hospitality. I think she reflects a spirit of giving and hospitality and family that's very natural to her. And in sharing that with this organization and then ultimately with her customers, I think she's able to create a link between the place that she comes from and the person she is and the place that she's living now. Lamise is such a talented cook. There are people that you come across in the food industry who are able to cook whatever they want to cook and it will always come out delicious. And food, like anything, is a language. It's a way to communicate with other people. So I think that when Lamise leads with her food and the way that she offers food with her hospitality, she really creates an immediate relationship with the people that she's serving the food to.
So my restaurant is adding like a freshness food, authentic food, and healthiest food. So we prep fresh food, we cook it per order. We don't like reheat the meats, or we don't like reheat whatever they do or whatever they ask. The most popular one is the moussaka. The moussaka is like #1. Everybody like it because we prepare it on order. It's special about large quantity and with fresh food, and it's from Middle East. Chicken kebab and shish kebab and kofta kebab, that's like the most popular stuff that we serve, and the shawarmas and the gyros also.
I was afraid that people will reject you because you're from Iraq or the Middle East. Actually, it's totally the opposite. They're welcoming you and they want to know more about your dish and your style. The challenge here is with myself, because I challenge myself every day. I want to do something different. Culinary cooking life is the big challenge for me, because you always have to learn something new. There's always new ingredients. The world is big of food, so always you get to introduce to something new. For example, dragon fruit. I got introduced to it, I think it was Chinese New Year, and I want to do something with it. I have no idea what it tastes, so that's my challenge with myself. My clients, I'm 100% confident they are always happy with what I present to them, because it's always something new for them. Cheesecake that I make, it's sugar-free. It's sweet and it's sugar-free, and it's gonna taste between cheesecake and baklava. How is that? You add dates in the food processor with your cream cheese, some yogurt and all of that. The pistachios is gonna top it instead of the strawberry. I created my first souffle ever. It was pumpkin souffle, a very light, fluffy dessert, a big twist of the American pumpkin pie. And since that, when I nailed it, it was amazing.
My hope is that if somebody is able to engage in eating the food, that they're also able to engage in sitting down with people who make their food. And then you have a moment that's bigger than just eating something, it's building something with somebody else.
Food is going to be the new way that Arabs sort of display their culture here. Beyond just being doctors and engineers, I think food is always going to be part and parcel to the way that we display our culture and our cuisine.